So welcome back to this week's Realty Talk. We're glad to see everyone here today. And we are going to, again, turn it over this week to Mr. and Mrs. Porter. They have some things to share with us today. So you can go ahead and I'm not sure who's going to start. I'm assuming Miss Porter, you're going to go ahead and begin.
Yes, I will. Good afternoon, everybody. And thank you, Anita, for a great introduction. As always, kudos to everybody who's had a chance to log on thus far. You guys are going to be very happy that you joined today. And hopefully that's the same sentiment for every Thursday, as these topics are imperative to your success. Today, we want to make sure that we clear up some of the noise for you with regards to all of the potential real estate related activities that you could be doing, and help you guys to focus on those that are income generating activities. So just go ahead and, just prepare to take notes, and let's just dive in. As it pertains to your daily real estate activity, the question becomes, how do you measure your productivity versus just busy work in real estate? Okay. So of course, the daily grind, it can keep you busy, but are you actually productive in your efforts? So here's our 7 income generating activities. These are things that as you're going, throughout your day-to-day process, you can literally look at what your schedule looks like and determine, are these action items things that are going to lead me to a commission or some income at the end of the day? And then you need to reprioritize those if they are not. There are quite a number of things that you could get caught doing or be busy doing, but they are not actually productive to your real estate goals in your real estate career. So we're going to just articulate these, and then we'll go through each one of them in a little bit more detail. All right. The first and foremost goal of every real estate professional has to be lead generating. It is your number one goal. It's your number one target. If you did nothing else during the course of a day but lead generating, then you will have had a successful or a productive day as a real estate agent. We talk all the time about, having to build your pipeline and your book of business and all those things, and how once you build it, you got to nurture it and so forth and so on. But nothing happens unless you are generating those leads. So that's the first and foremost activity for income generating activities there. Okay. Second is going to be setting appointments. The second thing that you want to make sure that you're doing, the purpose of your prospecting activities should be for you to actually schedule an appointment with that buyer or that seller client, so that you go in with a clear, sober-minded perspective. The purpose of this call is for me to get an appointment. Okay. NAR says that for sellers, you have a 50% chance of getting the listing when you simply get an appointment and get in front of that seller. So of all of your endeavors, and we'll talk about those, though they be many, we're going to help to hone them in and focus you guys on those that are going to be most effective, and those that are organic, that stand the test of time no matter what the market is. Okay. So keep setting appointments in the front of your mind. Okay. So I'm going to go through this list very quickly. Then again, we'll talk through these points because we have a video that we want to get into, and Mr. Porter has some things that he's going to share as well. So this is going to be an open conversation, but these things are very essential to bring back to the forefront of your mind so that you guys can measure your progress on your own while you're at home. All right. Number 3, in terms of those income generating activities, is going to be establishing brokerage agreements. When you schedule that appointment and you get there, the purpose of that appointment is for you to walk away with a brokerage agreement. So whether that's a listing agreement or a buyer brokerage agreement, that's the whole purpose of the appointment. Okay. Next is writing contracts. That goes without saying. Settlements, recruiting, and that's something that's a tremendous opportunity that Porterhouse provides to you guys. And then last but certainly not least, investing. So just take a screenshot, take notes. We can share these slides with you guys. Either way, it's fine. But this is the way that you need to measure your productivity on a daily basis. Okay. Lead generating. We have had so many trainings and have so many slides that talk about lead generating. You guys have so many guides on lead generating. We have so many videos on lead generating. We have conversations, realty talks galore. because this is this is just by far the most important thing that you can do. So just prospecting, building your book of business. I want somebody to come off mute really quickly and tell me what building your book of business is, because we've used that term so often, we've trained on it ad nauseum, but we want to make sure that this is really sticking. When we say building your book of business through generating leads, what do I mean by that? And if you guys need a couple moments to think about it, I'm just going to give it to you and keep going. All right. So building your book of business essentially means that you are reaching out to everybody that you know to gather information from them so that you can put into a database, which then effectively becomes your book of business because you're going to market to those people, right? So when you're going out and you're prospecting and you're passing out your business cards and you're cold calling and door knocking and all of these things, the purpose is information gathering, of course, so you can get to the point where you get business out of that client. So that is the building of your book of business through your prospecting. So one of the things that we talk about all the time, because this is going to stand the test of time no matter what the market is reaching out to your sphere of influence daily. And I cannot stress how important this is for the growth and progression of your real estate business and even the security of your real estate business in changing markets. Reaching out to the people who already know, like, and trust you, this will really help to propel you to the next level in your real estate business. And I think that each of us got a taste of that back in January when we had that challenge for everybody to reach out to your sphere of influence. Almost all of you called us and you had business directly related to prospecting within your sphere of influence. You guys got buyer leads, you got listing leads. Some of you have closed quite a number of transactions as a direct result. Some of you have people who are in your pipeline for later this year or, excuse me, even next year that came directly from your book of business. Calls, 10 calls per day, 10 text messages per day. I'm not saying anything that we haven't said quite a number of times before, guys, and we've gone through so many trainings on these things. I want you to know I'm not telling you anything new today. We're just reminding you guys and refreshing your memory of the things that are foundational, they're fundamental, they're back to the basics, and they work no matter what the market is, okay? Passing out the business cards, we can't say that enough. Cold calling, that's something that a lot of people may not, feel comfortable with doing. But the key to that is practicing your scripts. And when you practice your scripts for your cold calling and you do role playing either with yourself in the mirror, I even like to do what I did many times before is a voice memo. You can even say by chance you're at home by yourself or something like that, you can do a voice memo and you can go through your whole script on the voice memo and play it back so that you hear what you sound like. You can take notes and then you can productively move forward and just advancing in your ability to do your cold calling there. Okay. Cold calling $1 million listings. We've talked about this quite a number of times. It's a very, very successful endeavor. One of your colleagues got multiple $1 million listings back to back just because she took us up on this. We told her to do something that she had never done before. She said, I'm not going to lie to you, Mrs. Ford. I'm totally uncomfortable doing this and I really don't want to, but I'm going to take your advice. And she got multiple multi-million-dollar listings back to back. And that's simply with cold calling. Okay. Door knocking. This is something that in real estate, I know that there are a lot of things that we can do online, and that is an effective way to prospect depending on the market. But these foundational pieces, they have been there from the beginning. They stand the test of time and they set you apart from the competition in every market. Okay. Those 10 business cards per day. We've got to get back to the point where we're out and about now. Thankfully, I know Anita was saying that, seeing everybody in the office yesterday was so great, and it was. So we are grateful that now we're at a place where we can actually go out and, fellowship again and be in the company of people again. So with that being said, you're able to be intentional about scheduling maybe a trip to Starbucks or to Panera or a gas station or grocery store or wherever it is that you go on a daily basis with 10 business cards in your pocket every day. and take whatever time you need to make sure that you pass those 10 business cards out before you leave, and collect as much information as you can. You'd be surprised at the number of people who have business cards, or you simply ask if you can text them your virtual business card, or you can email them your virtual business card. That way you have their information so as to put it into your book of business, okay? And then, of course, door knocking, community involvement, etc. There are a whole list of prospecting activities, which we don't even have enough time today to go over, but we will circle back through our prospecting training series so that you guys have a litany of items that you can choose from. But the goal is not to, kind of get lost in a maze of all of the activities that you can do, but to choose some of these go-to items and incorporate them in your schedules on a daily and weekly basis so that you're constantly having an influx of buyer clients and listing clients, okay? Nurturing your book of business. Mr. Porter, do you have anything that you want to say before I move on to the next topic here? If not, I'll keep going. If you do, just go ahead and unmute yourself. The whole purpose of prospecting to build your book of business is for you to get a closed transaction out of it. So in order to do that, you're going to have to nurture your book of business. So now you've gone through all of these activities, you've reached out to your sphere of influence, you've passed out your business cards, you've collected information, you've put them into your campaigns so that now you've created automaticity and your systems are then emailing to your book of business for you, whether you're asleep, you're on vacation, you're in the office, you're in a settlement, no matter what it is that you're doing, something should be going out to your book of business so as to nurture them. You're nurturing those leads into a client and into referrals for you. So that happens very easily through email campaigns, through mailers. And again, we'll go through that training again so you guys have a wealth of ideas of what that looks like. But I will just point out something that one of your colleagues did that I really appreciated. He did magazine mailers, and Curtis is on the line, but he did magazine mailers to his book of business. So these are past clients and potential new clients and all of those things. I'm not sure what his whole list of people is. He can share insight on that, but that's just one of the ideas, right? Send cards to people. So whether they're birthday cards, happy anniversary for the day that you bought your house, New Year's cards, Christmas cards, whatever the case is, you want to connect with these people in your book of business and continue to nurture them on an ongoing basis, okay? And there are quite many activities that we can do so as to accomplish that. But just for the sake of the time that we have for our training today, the only other one that we'll cover today is the appreciation events. There are things that you guys can do, right? You have an office, you have multiple places where your clients can come. If you wanted to schedule some type of client appreciation event where, for the holidays, one of the things that we like to do, you might have, pie giveaways during the holidays. Or if it's for Valentine's Day, you might have, you can think of it seasonally and be festive. Darlene's a great person to talk to about ideas with things like that. But you can have little giveaways and you can invite your sphere of influence out and let them know, hey, I just wanted to, do this in honor of you and say thank you, for your business, and invite them out to receive something. It can be refreshments, it can be, Valentine's Day candy, it can be whatever. So the sky's the limit when it comes to that type of thing. So I want you guys to use your imagination and think of those things that would make an emotional connection with your sphere of influence so that you can properly nurture them so that you get the leads that you're looking for, okay? And then practicing your scripts, guys. So in this lead generation topic, it goes hand in hand with practicing your scripts, because all of us know what it's like if you go to school and you didn't do your homework and your teacher asks a question, you're hiding, you're like, Lord, please don't let him or her call on me. But if you're the one that's done your homework, you're going to be first to raise your hand. You're going to be first to stand up. You're going to be in front of the class. You're going to have confidence, and you're going to be able to take the lead in that room and master whatever it is that's in front of you because you've done your homework, right? The same thing goes with practicing your scripts. When you practice the scripts that we provided for you guys are going to be the confident ones that'll be able to have a conversation with any buyer, with any seller. You'll be able to turn renters into buyers. You'll be able to have a general conversation in passing and now have a person who wasn't even thinking about buying a home, but now they're going to know all the features, advantages, and benefits of home ownership because now they've talked to Anita, because now they've talked to, Kermon. They've had these conversations with you guys, and now they're like, I never thought that I could buy a home. I didn't even want to, but after the conversation I had with that person, now I want to begin this process and my journey of home ownership. That's the power behind practicing your scripts. Okay. Cold calling. You don't want to just call and fumble through it. You want to be intentional. You want to practice the cold calls, the scripts for the various type of seller leads that you're going to be targeting. You want to be the student who's done their homework so that you show up ready for business. And clients know the difference, trust me. Okay. So the next thing here, and I'll take a pause if anybody has any questions, any comments, or anything that they'd like to include there. I'll give you a second or two. You can unmute yourself, drop something in the chat, raise your hand. Otherwise, I will continue through this list. All right, setting appointments, right? We've said this before, but we want you guys to have a laser-like focus, and we want you to have a clear and sober perspective when you are calling people and when you're having conversations with these leads that you're prospecting. The purpose of that conversation, that door knock, that call, that invitation, whatever it is that you're doing, the purpose of all of that is to set an appointment. When you walk away with the appointment, you win because now you have a 50% chance in getting that listing. So the goal of all of your prospecting activities has to be to schedule an appointment, right? That goes without saying, so I don't have to elaborate too much more on that. Then establishing brokerage agreements. That's the purpose of your appointments, of course. You want to get a listing agreement, a buyer tenant agency agreement, or a lease agreement with these clients. Remember, the name of the training today is 7 income generating activities. So this is the purpose of, the purpose of each one of these items is to generate income in all of the things that you're doing. And these are the things that you want to be focused on because you know that you're being productive and you're being effective when you're focused on these things. Okay. Writing contracts. I know some people, I don't know, maybe you are excited when it's time to write a contract. Maybe you say, oh, Lord, we've written 10 contracts. At the end of the day, the contract is how you get paid. So once you've gotten that brokerage agreement, now you need to write offers, as many offers as it takes in order to get your client ratified so that you can get to settlement. Writing contracts, those are income generating activities. When you consider it from the perspective of, 3%, if it's a $700,000 house, that's $21,000 potential for the contract that you're writing. So just think of that when it comes to, the competitive market that we're in. And you say, well, maybe we had to write 10 contracts, 15 contracts before one of them got accepted, or maybe all of them got accepted. But whatever that looks like, we want you guys to embrace the process and just feel confident that when you're writing contracts, you're being productive and doing effective income generating activities. Okay. And then settlement goes without saying. There's a piece that I want you guys to make sure to embrace. And if you don't do it, then I want you to start doing it as of today. When you guys go to settlement, make sure that when you leave that table, you have at least one referral from your client. You're going to ask them for referrals at the settlement table. Okay. At settlement, you've done it. Your client has won. You've accomplished the task that they hired you for. Maybe it was a smooth sailing transaction with no bumps in the road. Maybe it was a transaction that had a turn at every corner. But whatever the transaction looked like, you did it. You're the superhero. You got them through the transaction, and now they're at the point of celebration because they're at the settlement table with their agent. What better time to ask that client for a referral? Okay. And I recommend that you do it, at the beginning of the transaction in your buyer consultation or your listing appointment once they've hired you, and at settlement. But at the very least, you want to make sure that your settlement, you're sober in your goals, and is constantly to build your book of business. This client has settled, and that's your commission for today. But you want to always be forward and future thinking, what does my commission look like for tomorrow? So each of these conversations and your endeavors are going to be forward thinking for my tomorrow, for my next month, for my next year, so that you have a progressive, ongoing, growing, healthy, thriving real estate business. Okay. Then recruiting. Recruiting is a tremendous opportunity for you guys here at Porterhouse. You guys have, passive income for life. We want you guys to take full advantage of your recruiting. You get bonuses when they come on board. And then every time they close a transaction, you continue to get more income from that. And it doesn't even come from the recruit, it comes from the company. So that's Mr. Porter and myself. We're paying you guys and saying, hey, great job. Thank you for doing that. And we're going to keep incentivizing you to do it. So then think in terms of, how can I stack the deck so that I have a whole pipeline of recruits that I'm working on an ongoing basis? You might, as a full-time or dual career agent, whatever your, whether you're full-time or dual career, you should definitely carve out time to do that, because in between your settlements, your recruiting bonuses and your passive income from your recruiting can very much carry you in terms of your marketing expenses, or even pay a bill or provide whatever income you need, or maybe capital for an investment project, or, money aside for kids' college, whatever that looks like. Your recruiting can take care of all of those things. Okay. And then lastly, Mr. Porter, this is your topic, because you lead the torch when it comes to these things, and that's investing. Investing, guys. We are very much investors, and we appreciate turning all of our opportunities into income generating opportunities. And we want for you guys to have that same mindset. How can I leverage, other people's money from the perspective of, producing something that's going to be an asset for me? When we talk about debt, we talk about debt to purchase assets, not debt to purchase, just luxuries per se. But how can I leverage this so as to produce an asset that's going to pay me on a monthly basis, an ongoing basis? It's going to pay for itself, and it's going to pay for something else. Okay. So these are the 7 bullet points that I wanted to just get through for us before I go into this video. And I know I've shared a mouthful, so I will pause right there for any questions while I go ahead and get this video queued up. Does anybody have any questions or any comments? Otherwise, give me just a second.
I have a quick comment, Jazz.
Sure.
I would really highly recommend folks to reach out to your closed contracts, any buyer or seller that you've closed. And that's kind of why I'm doing that magazine run, but reaching out to them in the mail. I think that today's marketplace, when's the last time any of us received something in the mail that you actually are happy that you got something in the mail? The other thing you can kind of notice in your personal mailboxes is that there's really not as much quote unquote junk mail as there used to be, say 5, 8, 10 years ago. It's all in our email. So you're going to stand out even more so by just a touch, within your closed clients, because you help them buy the house, you should have their address. By reaching out to them, it's just going to stand out. So if you don't do the magazine, there's tons of things that you can do, like Jasmine was mentioning, but I highly recommend kind of looking at the quote unquote snail mail as a way to really just stand out, make yourself, you're still here, you're looking for them, or, you're here for them, but the actual mail, I think is a really untapped, easy way, to stay in front of your clients.
That is so simple but effective. And I'm going to give you guys another pearl here. When it comes to mail, you have certain demographics that are more responsive and less responsive. And I want to give you guys a pearl, because my dream is that you'll take it and run with it. Your demographic, that is your 55 and older demographic, is going to respond to mail more than double the demographic below them. So when you consider a demographic that's 55 and older, that makes at least 100K in income, and that has $1 million listing or more, that demographic is going to be almost 3 times as responsive to mail as the demographics, as other demographics. So consider that demographic. They respond to mail. That's what they're used to, and we know this from our own selves and our family members. Certain people appreciate text more, and certain people are like, no, send me a letter. Or, some people appreciate email more. Some people like, no, pick up a landline and call me. So let's just be mindful of the demographics in our marketing, because when you market to a specific audience that is already much more receptive to receiving mail, you're going to get even more of a bang for your buck in that regard. So thank you for sharing that, Curtis. I want you guys to take notes. Somebody drop it in the chat. Mailers to 55 and older, 100K in income with $1 million listing or more. You guys should be doing a search for each one of our vendors that send out mailers for us. They're able to pull up whatever demographic or audience you want to mail it to. If you target it specifically like that, you guys are going to get a tremendous amount of return on your investment. Okay. I'm going to play a couple seconds of this video, and then I'm going to advance it for you guys for our discussion.
And Ms. Porter,
As I play it, go ahead.
Well, that is so something that I noticed about myself, because I happen to be, in the more mature group of people. And, just also to confirm, I am I think most of us in that age range, we like to hold on to our paper, so getting something in the mail, you would prefer to hold on to it versus when you're getting, it becomes a bit overwhelming. And like Curtis was saying, like a lot of what we receive, the junk mail we receive is via email, a lot of that stuff I throw away. And even if the stuff that I receive at my home, I throw away, I still pick it up and I'm gonna, like glance at it, like, what is this? Even if I do end up throwing it away. So I think also too, kind of our generation, we like that tangible piece of paper versus, the email. I can't even necessarily read a really long email. I have to print it out to read it because I just need it in my hands.
I was going to say the same thing, that I will print it out before I'll read it on the screen most of the time, especially if it's long, or even if it has pictures or anything like that. So yeah, and I'm trying to get rid of a whole lot of paper now. So
well, I needed to say something, even when I'm doing say the input for listings or things like that. And you know how Ms. Porter could do that duplicate screen. I got to print it out. I have to look at the paper and put it in. I can't even do the duplicate screen. I have to have paper in my hand.
This is very powerful insight. So I hope that everybody on the line is taking note, because we're talking about mailers to a demographic that prefers something tangible in hand and not something digital that is just going to be overwhelming in an email. So know that these things are effective, and there's an audience that, in the generation where they've already accomplished and acquired quite a bit. So you're going to have a whole lot of sellers and people that have some disposable income. And when we say the 55 and older, 100K and more, and $1 million listing, you're talking about a person who needs to sell and needs to buy. So now you've just doubled your income as well, because you're talking about multiple transactions just from one mailer. So take this information to heart that we're sharing with you guys today, because there's no magic or secret to success in real estate. It's doing the simple, basic things consistently over time. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start the video, and thank you guys for your input, because that's very insightful. Let me move this on up to the top, and we can.
Welcome to a special edition of the Team Builder Show, specifically the Shifting Market Show. To help us do it, I've got the Stephanie Younger in the house from Los Angeles, Compass Real Estate, $403 million in volume last year. Monster year, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so that's the first part. I'm gonna move on up. So you guys could hear that, right?
$403 million in volume. Yes, I
Yes, yes. We heard that.
Excellent. So now let's jump into the rest of it.
And tactically, what are some of the adjustments you're asking as a play caller your team to make today?
Well, I mean, I guess maybe one thing I would say is that I've always been a team where we're not really reliant on online leads or like the immediate buyer. We've been very much a geographic farmer.
Yep.
We're community driven. We're relationship driven. And so the good news on that front is that we're not having to make any hardcore pivot. Like
Right.
we're already there.
Right.
So we're just looking at how do we triple down on what we're doing. You know, I think we doubled down in 2020.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
we're
we did.
tripling down now.
Yeah.
And I feel grateful that we've been able to afford to do that and that we were smart enough to do that we were brave enough to do that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people pulled back when we were just leaning forward.
Yes.
I mean, that's stressful. And I'm not worried about a recession. Like I say, bring it on.
Right.
I mean, I don't really want that, but you know, bring it on.
Right.
We're ready and we're ready to tackle it. So in terms of changes, I think the very first thing is helping our agents rethink what a lead means and where a lead comes from.
Why?
Well, because I think we did have to shift our focus to online leads in a way we really didn't before in the last 2 years because of the pandemic.
Sure.
You know, we were so shut down in California that so many more of our opportunities came online.
Yes.
And
Because you
we-
couldn't do the open houses the way you had done
Right.
forever and
no
ever.
door
right?
knocking,
Exactly.
no events, no,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
no belly to belly stuff at all.
Yeah.
So, so we really are getting them back into what does it mean to prospect in person and
Yeah.
what does it mean to, you know, get your business from people that you know and people that we know and just get after it as opposed to wait for it.
But Stephanie, I've only been selling real estate for 2 years. What do you prospect? I didn't get in this business to prospect, right? So how are you, like, what are the tough conversations you and Jeff are having with individuals that, I mean, I heard an interesting stat. 20% of the agents today, right, have never been through the kind of market we're in right now. And most of them got in during the pandemic.
Right.
Either right before or during the pandemic. 20% of the agents,
Yeah.
they don't know. And probably pretty safe to say, minus the recession that occurred during the pandemic, the last one would have been maybe the micro moment of 2018 when rates went in August of 2018, when rates went 3.9, 4.9.
Yeah.
For like on a Tuesday and everybody went, right?
Yeah.
Prior to that, it would have been 7, 8, 9, 10.
Right.
So they've never, I don't
Really
know,
lived
70%
through- yeah.
have never been through this.
They don't know. You know, and maybe in some ways that's a good thing. Like if we can just get them to be head down, eyes forward, roll up their sleeves and get to work.
Yeah.
Maybe it's better that they also don't know in a way.
Yeah.
Because real estate is real estate. And whether the market, there's a recession or the market is booming,
Yeah.
someone's going to be selling their houses, whether they want to or they have to.
Find the market in every market,
That's right.
Find the market in every market.
And that's where a team like mine can really dominate in a market like this because we have all the brand recognition. We have
Yes.
all of the roots planted everywhere.
Yep.
And so all our agents really need to do is lean into what we provide them already and how we're going to help them reconnect to that sort of old fashioned
Yeah.
way to do business. So, you know, for starters, we're really getting everybody back into this mentality around door knocking, calling your sphere, cold calling, circle dialing. We're just really re-engaging around all of those things.
What's your average sales price?
Our average sales price is 1.5 million.
So 1.5 million. We want them circle dialing. We want them cold calling. We want them door knocking. You know, that just doesn't, like, for a lot of people, they'll be like, what?
Well-
But how many transactions did you guys do last year?
We did 304 sales transactions plus about like 40 leases.
And where are you at so far year to date?
172 sales
Okay.
and just over 300 million in volume.
So already blowing past last year. So let's go back to the tough conversations part. I mean, it's very
Right.
obvious to me, like you and I, like I say this in a loving way, we're knuckle draggers, man. Like get me into the dirt. I'm going to just do whatever it takes. Like, cause we, you know, experience being punched in the face over and over again
Yeah.
in our business
Yeah.
gives you wisdom.
Well, you know, I can speak to this from experience with my agents. I spent the first 10 years of my business door knocking.
Yep.
It's really how I became known to people and how I
Right.
deepened my conversations with
Right.
people. You know, my farm ends up being like 25,000
Yeah.
homes that we're marketing to,
Yeah.
but you know, it started small.
course.
And then the last 4 years that I personally would go out and door knock, I had my team door knocking with me. So we were really canvassing the neighborhood,
Yes.
you know, like crazy. Then they door knocked for 5 more years after that.
Right.
I can't go out anymore because like I'll be at one door for an hour.
Yeah.
You
Steph,
know?
come in. Let's have a conversation.
Totally,
You know,
totally.
How are the kids? Right.
Yeah, so I really spend my time connecting with our community events now,
Yeah.
but we're all going to be getting really back out there with seasoned agents taking
Mm-hmm.
newer agents door knocking. We've really retooled the materials we're sending out so they have a little bit more brand connection to that, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
we're, you know, giving them more ownership of that door knocking process. But you know, my goal would be that everybody's door knocking for 90 minutes a day, religiously, and they're just building that muscle
Yeah.
to get back out there. And it's a simple script.
Give
It's,
it-
you know,
Give it to us. Knock, knock. Hello.
hi, I'm Stephanie Younger with the Stephanie Younger Group. I'm just coming by with some information. I'm making my usual rounds. I wanted to leave you a notepad and invite you to the 4th of July parade on Monday. And
Love
I
it.
just thought I'd ask if you have any real estate needs today.
No, I think we're good. I keep hearing though the market's really changing, and like, are things going to be okay in LA?
Well, you know, historically, they're always okay in Los Angeles. So
Yeah.
I think you're pretty lucky. How long
Yeah.
have you lived here?
We've had this place for 12 years now.
12 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Where'd you live before?
We came from Northern California, so Silicon Valley down here, you know, just job transfer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would you ever move back?
We talk about our families there, but I don't know. This is pretty hard. Like the weather here is so good.
I
It's
know.
so hot up there. Like I can't handle it during the summers.
Well, I live here too, and I can't really
Yeah.
imagine where else I would go. So, you know, I'm not really asking if you need to move since
Yeah.
I know you love
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
have you heard of anybody in your neighborhood who might be thinking about moving?
You know, I mean, everybody talks all the time, but I don't know anybody like off the top of my head that I could tell you.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you have all my information,
Yeah.
and you know that I'm in the neighborhood all the time.
I
We'd
see
love
your
to be
stuff
your
everywhere.
resource.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you ever have any questions or you hear of anybody who needs to buy or sell, I hope you'll reach out and think about us. And, you know, are you coming to the 4th of July parade on Monday?
I'm going to be there.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, will you look for us?
Yeah, of
All right,
course.
great. Well, it's good to see you.
I feel like you've said that like 11 million times.
I
Did that
mean-
just come out of her just like bang? Like, you know, if you're listening to the audio, you should definitely watch the video of that, because that was just like you just popped the tape in and went, okay, door knocking strip.
Yeah,
Right?
especially because I probably didn't think through that before I got here again, you know, and it's like,
Yes.
it was something I did so religiously.
Exactly.
And it's it's the worst and it's the hardest. And, you know,
Yeah.
there were days where I was a disaster and days where I was a success. And,
Yep.
you know, my team will, not just my team, but literally people will call me and say, I hear you door knocked for 10 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, how much business did you get off of it? And I'll usually say none.
Yeah.
Because it's not the business I'm looking for at the door.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking for that person who's going to pick my flyer up off their porch or think about it after I leave and call me. You know, I'm not trying to jam my foot in the door at that moment.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to wedge it open a little
Yeah.
bit.
It's like it's relationship building.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the people that Andy C, right, from Northern California, like knocking on doors, open house. He's like,
Yeah.
if you're just in market and you're answering questions, you're building relationships. All of a sudden, you're
Yes.
like, they come in, they're like, he's like, hey, don't you guys own a house like 3 blocks from here, right? I
Right.
knocked on your door. You guys came by this other open house, and that's what makes people go, oh, they're making me feel special. They remember me. It's that connection.
Exactly.
So back to the tough conversations.
Ms. Porter, is
Yes,
Susan-
I wanted
okay.
to, I stopped that video there. Now, that's what we're gonna have a conversation about. Mr.
So,
Porter,
Jeremy, can you hear me now?
yes, your audio is
You
connected
guys
now.
hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. So, yes, that everything that we've been talking about, guys.
Okay, that's sort
the
of
reason
low
why
for
we
me.
wanted- Can you hear me now?
Yes, go
Can you
ahead,
hear me now?
loud and clear.
So everything we've been talking about and everything that we wanted to share with you in the video is all really talking about, listen, there's no magic secrets to this business. Everything that we've been training you on and teaching you for the last 5 years is exactly what you're going to pay $500 to go sit with Tom Ferry at one of his conventions, get you all motivated, pumped up for that $500 seat. But at the end of the day, He's going to tell you you have to invest in yourself. You got to go knock on those doors. You got to go send out your mailers. You got to go get your credit straight, get your business organized. You know, maybe hire an assistant. But you have to do the work. You have to invest in yourself. There's a segment on this video, I don't know if we played it just now because I had to log back on, where she said you come in the morning from 9 to 1 and you do all of the tasks that Jasmine told you to do. Do the tasks that are on the dashboard, under updates. We tell you exactly what to do to be productive. If you come in the morning, she said you come from 9 to 1 and have the rest of the day to yourself. Because you're going to do, when you do those type of activities, you're going to generate leads. You're going to have places to be in the afternoon. You're going to have showings to go to in the afternoon. So everything that we're saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, is you have to. It's no magic secret to making a lot of money in real estate, except knowing your community, farming your areas, staying to the task, being consistent, day in and day out, doing the task that generates leads for yourself, and then making sure that you're answering the phone calls and giving the best customer service that you possibly can until you get to settlement. And then do it all over again. But I think a lot of us think that, hey, real estate, it's kind of a, if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, but no, you have to really grind at it every day. And you have to carve out time where you can come to the office, because, be honest, you're not productive at home. You're not productive in, going up to the Starbucks and all. Come to an office, sit down, get your mind right, focus on the business, make those phone calls, be loud and proud and productive, say what you have to say, do what you have to do, and then get out of there. And then you're going to have a lot of stuff that you have to do in the afternoon, all the way up until midnight, just like last night, I'm up midnight submitting the office. Because that's what productivity is going to get you if you do the task that we're telling you to do. The Porterhouse way works. We built an entire brokerage and a system, and all for just doing exactly what we're telling you to do. And we know it works, and you heard it. This is Tom Ferry. He's one of the number one real estate experts in the world. And then he's speaking to a woman who's built a small team. Well, it's not really small, but she's built a team, and she's making a killing in real estate. But what did you hear her say? She's doing the same stuff we've been training you guys to do. And she does it consistently. It's just what she does. She has family, she has kids, she has a life, she has all of those things that we all have. But this is her job. And she treats it like a job. And that's the difference between people like her and people like us. We have to make sure that we go treat this like it's our 9 to 5. If we work with anybody else, we'd probably be fired if we did some of the things that we do in our real estate business. We cannot take it nonchalantly. We have to be aggressive. We have to be assertive. The down times are just time for you to regroup, rethink, reorganize, and reinvest. This is if it's a low tide season for you, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Mending your net, getting ready for the high tide. Because the fish are out there. There are plenty of fish. And in every market, people are going to buy or sell either because they have to or because they want to. So real estate is really recession-proof. We just have to position ourselves. And what I've been talking to you about with your LLC and getting your credit pick straight, your business credit, all of this is really just positioning you for this quote-unquote recession. Happy recession. That's the first thing they said on the video. We cut that part out. It's a happy recession. They're excited about it. Because we know that the market is going to continue to move. Real estate is going to sell. It's going to sell in any kind of market, recession, inflation, whatever. It's going to sell. We just have to be consistent at what we do. We have to have a lot of people that we're talking to on a regular basis about what we do, and then continue to talk to those people and invite those people to give us other people to talk to. And that's how you position yourself as an expert. And you can't be all over the place. Some of us are mile wide. We're trying to go from here to Annapolis to Baltimore to there. I can't do it. I got people in Baltimore. I'll send them a lead and say, work that lead, give me a split. I'll send a person to this person, send a person that. I send people to everybody and say, work the lead, call me back and give me a split. Because I want to be a mile deep in Upper Marlboro. That's my territory. Bowie, that's my territory. Clinton, that's my territory. That's where I live. But we try to spread ourselves too thin, and we're not capturing the markets that are accessible to us. So that's all we're talking about today, guys. This is not, it's no magic secret. It's really focused work, consistent work. And if you love what you do, and if you make it easy to the way you do business, everybody doesn't do things. You just heard 3 or 4 people say they like paper. And that's fine. If that's the way you want to do business, that's the way you do business. That's all right. Print those papers out, write those contracts, and go sign them. If that's how you do it. It doesn't bother Mr. Porter, but I'm going to give you every success tool that I possibly can to make your life easy, to make your clients' life easy. We're going to tell you the systems that you need to follow. You have to do a buyer's consultation with every buyer. Otherwise, the deal probably is going to start to come unraveled. You have to do a really good listing consultation, because you never know who you're up against to get that listing. You have to bring a gift at a listing consultation. See, all of the things that we're telling you to do are things that we know, because we paid all the money before we ever met you guys. We went through all those seminars. We sat in hours and hours and hours and hours of these wonderful seminars. And we say, you know what? They all say the same thing. We're waiting to hear the magic secret. They keep saying the same thing. Jasmine Porter's telling you the magic secret. Do the 7 things. At least the 7. You'll be successful, but you got to get consistent at it. You can't do 7 things one day and then take a month off. You got to do 7 things 7 days, or at least 5. And that's for, I don't care if you full-time, part-time, or sometimes. You still should be consistent if you ever want to see results.
Mm-hmm.
And we know if you're consistent or not, because guess what? We can see what you're doing. We can just tell by the people that check in. You guys are on Realty Talk, that's great. And then we can tell who comes to training, and we can see who's on Boomtown. We can see when you put transactions in Brooklyn. We can see when you're creating fake transactions just to practice. We get excited about that, because they say that person's going to be successful. They're going to know what they're doing. We know when you're passing out business cards, because the 775 number is on the front, and a lot of times they call the office first thing is you, and we'll forward that message to you, so we know when we pass out business cards. And some of y'all better be careful, because some of these dudes, because I met you last night and wanted to give you a call. Hey, wrong number. But my point is, guys, we can tell when you're productive. And what Jasmine is saying today, guys, we have to continue to stay consistently productive in doing specific things that's going to produce leads and generate revenue for you. Because the bottom line is that the Porters want you guys to be rich. There's no way we're going to be rich if we don't have a whole bunch of rich people around us. We learned that a long time ago. So when you're rich, we know we're going to be rich and successful and blessed and all that. And we're doing everything we can to invest in. And we don't mind spending the money, but we want you to answer the calls and treat people the way Porterhouse expects you to treat them. We don't mind investing in you guys. We don't mind doing whatever we have to go to the next level. But my biggest fear is that we won't answer the phone calls when they come. We won't. Oh, well, that's a robot. Well, maybe it is. Maybe they check. It might be a real person. That's the one. That's all you need is one. That one person is $9,000, $10,000. I'll answer all the robots. If I get one that's real and I can close them, it's worth me answering the robots. Stop making all of these excuses. I'm just saying the way it is. You have to do what you have to do. You have to do what you have to do, because if you don't, and you're a secret agent, nobody's gonna call you. Nobody's gonna call you. Join your church choir. Join any kind of organization where you're around a bunch of people, and make sure those people know that you do. If you're in a fraternity or sorority or Jack and Jill and peanut butter and jelly, whatever you're in, be active in it. Pass out those cards until people say, I have your card. Okay, well, you pass a few out for me, thank you. My boss makes me give out 2,500 cards a year. What? Yes, they want me to be successful. And some of you still got the boxes that we sent you when you joined. We know because we haven't reordered for you. But some of you we have reordered for. And we do it consistently. We can tell, and you see the production as a result. You can tell when you're in constant contact. We didn't shut it down. It's still there. We want to shut it down, but people are using it. And they're recruiting and they're doing certain things. But so we're going to leave it alone. We're going to continue to pay that money and invest in it. Some of you went to the first 3 Boomtown trainers. They ain't looked at Boomtown since. We know. We can tell. We're paying an arm and a leg, but we're going to continue to invest. But we're saying all of this to you to say, hey, guys, wake up. It is what it is. You got into this business to be successful, so just do it. You paying all this money every year, or every other year for your license and this and MLS and that. You need to be investing in yourself so those things are not even things you think about. It just comes out for your business credit card and you make the payments and you keep life moving and you don't ever talk about it because that's what we do. Mr. Porter, Ms. Porter has taught us how to set ourselves up for success, to have our business card ready, and to continue to invest in yourself because your license and your MLS and all that's just investing in yourself. It's just stuff you have to do. It's stuff you have to do, guys. So listen, we're begging you to be successful. I don't know how else to put it. We're begging you to be successful. That's all I want to say, Jasmine. But that was an excellent presentation, excellent video.
Thank you so much for those words of wisdom. I hope that all of us, every last one of us, will take it to heart and simply do what it is that we're teaching you guys to do. Like Mr. Porter said, there's no magic secret. There's no magic formula or potion. It's just doing the things that we're teaching you to do. You know, you can look anywhere and somebody can try to seductively get you to say, hey, come over here, I'll show you how to be successful. Hey, go over there, I'll show you how to be successful. But no matter where you're looking, the formula is the same. And we are giving it to you guys and giving you every last tool to be successful. So take hold of it and do these things because they work. Okay. We talk about accountability partners all the time. And some of you have done a phenomenal job in, teaming up. You've established teams, you have accountability partners, and we applaud you for that. We want you to continue. If you're on the line or you're listening to the video afterwards and you have not done so, please, by all means, accountability partners are essential. So not only do you have Mr. Porter and myself, but go ahead.
Jasmine, I was going to say we need to change that term. I don't want accountability partner. I want a harassment partner. I want a partner that will harass me to do what I'm supposed to do. And that's what you guys are not, I know we say these nice words, but I'm excited and I'm ready to go crazy. Jasmine harassed me to be successful, and I thank her for it every day. And then I started harassing her back when I learned some things. And we harass each other all the time about success and everything. It pushed me, we got uncomfortable. Let's open up more locations. Well, now we're getting comfortable. Let's go down south. Let's go over here. We continuously harass each other. Well, our agents need this. Well, that's what costs that. It doesn't matter. They need it. Let's give it to them. So you need a harassment partner. If your accountability partner is not harassing you, fire them. And find somebody who will harass you about, hey, did you call? Did you pass out 10 calls today? What are you doing? Let's meet me now. No, we got to do this. You need somebody like that sometimes. I need somebody like that all the time. Because we get caught up in our other things in life and we forget that, hey, this is my bread and butter. This is where I want to, I can make a lot of money doing this. I can invest in myself. I can set myself up for success for the future, my family, and everything else. I need to go get me a car and wrap it with porterhouses, put my picture on it, and drive that little joker around somewhere. See, you got to think outside and keep pushing yourself. I need to make me a commercial Well, hey, what does it take to make a commercial? I need to get on a billboard or a bus. I need to do something different. I'm going to shake this thing loose. And get your accountability partners. Tell them what you said you're going to do, and tell them when you said you're going to do it, and say, hold me accountable. If I haven't done it in 30 days, bring the paddle over here. Oh, never mind. All right, that's a different accountability. That's how me and Curtis play. But anyway, you have to have somebody who's going to harass you. And I know we say accountability partner sounds sweet, but don't be my accountability partner and not really hold me accountable. That's not helpful to me. We love you, so I'm pushing you, and I'm gonna continue to push you because I love you and I want you to be successful. And trust me, you might not like the way that my energy is coming at you right now, but if you do what we're telling you to do, you're gonna love me later on. So I don't need you to like me right now. I need you to love me later on. I'm getting off the soapbox, Gavin. I'm telling you, I was in rare form today. I'm sorry.
No, it's definitely very helpful, and I'm sure everybody can appreciate that, because the name of the game is settlements, guys. And in order to get there, you go through those 7 income generating activities that we talked about, and you will have success after success. You got into this business to change your life so that you can have financial freedom, so that you can, vacation, so that you can establish generational wealth, so that you can have liberty in your day. But just like Mr. Porter said, you have to regard your real estate career as a career. So whether you're full-time or dual career, this is your career. This is something that hopefully each and every last one of us will take to replace your full-time income for the dual career. And please know that Mr. Porter and myself, we went before you guys. He was a very well compensated school principal, founded the #1 charter school in DC, and I was a very well awarded pharmaceutical sales representative. So we came from a place of being very comfortable. So we had to make sure that what we were doing far surpassed what we were able to, earn in our previous fields of career. So we want to make sure that you guys do the same thing. If you've gotten comfortable, if you've gotten off track for a season, for whatever the reason, it is time to dial back in. It is time to do what you need to do. You're going to hear a lot of conversation about the shifting market and all of those things, but it does not affect the fact that people will always need to buy and always need to sell. That is when I started my real estate career, in the middle of the last recession. And Shay has told you guys that story before. So, and even in that market, I made a killing, so much so that it caused my husband, who was a principal, to say, I'm in the wrong field. So just embrace that and know that the same grace that's on us is on you guys. And we are blessed to be productive in any and every market that we're in. So embrace whatever, the new climate is in the market, and dominate by doing the simple things that we're teaching you guys to do consistently. Hold yourselves accountable first and foremost. So your harassment partner is essential, but at the end of the day and in the morning, you got to look yourself in the mirror and you got to hold yourself accountable. That's where those affirmations come in. That's where everything, you got to get up and do what it is that you said you were going to do, because you are the one that got into real estate to fulfill the dreams that you have. So don't leave anything on the table. When this is all said and done, you want to say, I did everything that I came to do. I put my absolute best into it. I went wherever the Porters told me, the goal was. I went, I found it, I multiplied it, and I'm happy with the state of my real estate career. All right, guys, that's all I want to share for today. We can go ahead and end the recording. If you guys have a few more questions, we can hang out for a minute afterwards. But if anybody has any final thoughts, any comments, any takeaway, insight, or anything that will be beneficial to the group, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and add it to the recording. I'll pause right there.
I just wanted to say that, and I said it in the chat, but I've attended a lot of those seminars, and what Mr. Porter is saying is really quite true. They all say the same thing, and the Porters are giving it to you just for your monthly investment in yourself and the brokerage. Please take advantage, please, because all these other people are just taking you for your money and not actually giving you the support that you need to get it done. So please take advantage of what the porters are giving to you, because it is really priceless.
Thank you, Dee. Anybody else have any final thoughts?
I do. And I would say that at the end of the day, I know we need, even though just like Mr. Porter was saying, get out there, and he's harassing us, and he's aggressive, he's speaking with passion, because we can't, you guys, the Porters, you guys can't want it more for us than we want it for ourselves. And I'm my motivator. And if I'm not motivated, it's going to show in my business. So we have to encourage ourselves, but I want it. So I'll be there on Thursdays from 9 a.m. until after Realty Talks. So whoever, if you're motivated to, put these things, that the Porters have in place to use, let's engage. Let's get engaged.
Excellent, Darlene. Anybody else? All right, then we'll go ahead and end the video recording for today. We honor your guys' time. I know we have some dual career and you may have to get back to work, so I want to go ahead and release you. For everybody else, we can hang out on the line for a couple more minutes.